Hello, and welcome to the Iron Spoon Kitchen, where today the Iron Spoon is atop two muffulettas, homemade, well, almost homemade. But we're going to be making muffulettas today in the style of the original. Now, one thing I'll tell you right away is that there is not just one way to make a muffuletta sandwich. Some people want to put a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that, a little bit less of something else. But we're going to make it about as traditional as I think that I can. And I just got these out of the oven, and I'll show you how I made these homemade muffulettas. And in fact, why don't I show you right now? First, we're going to get the bread made. And if you can find muffuletta bread nearby, already cooked, then get it. But this, I don't think you're going to be able to find as easily. So I found that you can use this pizza dough that is frozen, and that's what I'm going to use for today. And I've let this sit out for about an hour, probably closer to 2 hours. But you buy it frozen, then put it in the refrigerator for at least a day, 24 hours. And then you take it out, and then I'm just going to push it down until I get to about 7 inches wide, which is going to be the shape of the bread. Come on in a little closer and you can see exactly what I'm doing. And this is a greased cookie sheet. And I'm just going to press this out till I think it's about the right size. And then I'm going to put it into a 425 degree oven. Now that's a difference because on the package it says put it in 450, but that's because that is being made for a thin pizza dough. And this is not going to be that thin. We want this to be for the sandwich. Okay, I've got that all covered in the egg wash. Now I'm going to add some sesame seeds because that's what the muffuletta has. It looks like about 2 teaspoons is doing it. Okay, now into the oven. The muffuletta is all about the olive spread, and that's what we've got here, all these different ingredients. Now, of course, we have our cold cuts as well. I'll go over those with you also. But first, we need to make our own olive spread. And this is one of the most important parts according to the central grocery in New Orleans. This is what makes a muffuletta. And so that's what we're going to do now. Now come over a little closer, you can see me mixing it all up. It's time to get this all mixed together. And you'll note I do have the blade in there. For those of you who watched the ice cream episode, I will hopefully never make that mistake again. Okay, we're going to start with 2 cups of the drained giardiniera. And this is, as I said before, you can't have this olive spread without that. Then we have 1 cup of green olives and pimentos. 1/2 cup of Kalamata olives. 1 tablespoon of red wine. 1 tablespoon of rinsed capers. And the recipe called for 2, but this thing's salty enough. I don't think we need to put any more salt in it. I'm glad it said to rinse it. And then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano, 1 garlic clove, it's a large one, 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. So let's get all that in there. And we're just going to give this about 6 pulses. That's what the directions say. I think that looks good. You don't want it to be, really fine. You want it to be a little bit coarse. So that's great. Well, while I get this out of here, let me tell you a little bit about the history of the muffuletta. The muffuletta sandwich and its story isn't just about the sandwich. It's about an entire neighborhood of immigrants who reshaped how New Orleans eats, and about one small grocery store that has now survived through good and bad times. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, more than 250,000 Italians, most of them Sicilian, poured through the port of New Orleans. Many settled in the French Quarter, in a district so densely Sicilian that locals nicknamed it Little Palermo. At its peak, Sicilian immigrants made up more than half the population of the quarter. By the early 1900s, this stretch of the quarter had pasta factories capable of churning out 10,000 pounds a day, Sicilian bakeries, a gelato shop, and Sicilian farmers who dominated the produce trade at the nearby French market. Into this world, in 1902, came a young man named Salvatore Lupo. Everyone called him Toto. He apprenticed under an established grocer family before opening his own shop with a business partner. By 1919, that shop had a new name and a new location, Central Grocery on Decatur Street, across from the French Market. Here's where the sandwich comes in, as told for decades by Lupo's own daughter, Marie Lupo Tusa, who, by the way, lived to be 103 years old. She published a book in 1980 called The Melting Pot, and it documented her family's history. French market vendors, mostly fellow Sicilians, would come into Central Grocery for lunch. They'd order cold cuts, cheese, a scoop of olive salad, and a wedge of bread, then perch on grocery crates and barrels and awkwardly balancing their meals on their knees because there was nowhere to sit. Toto Lupo had a simple idea. Why not just put it all inside the bread? He reached for a common Sicilian loaf called a Muffuletta. It's soft, round, sesame-topped, likely named for its resemblance to a mushroom cap. He split it, stuffed it, and suddenly lunch was portable. A sandwich was born. Central Grocery never claimed to have the only Muffuletta in town, but they were the ones who made it famous, with a slogan that still hangs there today, imitated by many, but never duplicated. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, the Muffuletta had grown beyond New Orleans to other towns such as Ruston and Hammond, Louisiana. It was also served in Biloxi, Mississippi. A Texas sandwich chain called Schlotzsky's, started in Austin, Texas in 1971, built an entire empire on a sandwich modeled directly after it. The original owners tasted a Muffuletta in New Orleans, and it inspired them to make a Texas version. But even as the Muffuletta conquered menus everywhere, it stayed tied to that same block of Decatur Street where Central Grocery, now run by third-generation owner Tommy Tusa, kept selling thousands of sandwiches a day, mostly to tourists who wanted a taste of history. Then came Hurricane Ida in August 2021. This time was different. Ida's 90-mile-per-hour winds tore down a neighboring wall, which crashed through Central Grocery's roof. Tusa returned to find water pouring out the front door, and when he climbed the stairs to the storage room, all he could see above him was open sky. However, the building would be gutted down to its 4 brick walls and the concrete floor. For over 2 years, Central Grocery sat empty. No olive salad, no sesame bread, no line out the door. Contractors couldn't even patch the roof. The hole was too big to tarp, so the interior sat exposed to the elements for nearly 20 months. Rebuilding a 200-year-old building in the middle of the French Quarter is no small task. Construction crews battled tourist foot traffic, the city's own restrictions, and the sheer logistics of getting equipment onto Decatur Street. But Tusa didn't just want the building patched up. The rebuild team sank new foundation piers 60 feet into the ground and reinforced the roof with steel, leaving Central Grocery sturdier than it had ever been. And through all of it, the old sign out front reading, "Home of the original Muffuletta," never came down. It just kept swinging over the sidewalk, a promise that the shop would return. Central Grocery is a reminder that some things in New Orleans keep surviving the storms. It's not just the buildings that survived, but the recipes and the stories that a Sicilian grocer started over a century ago, building a legacy one sandwich at a time. Got everything in the bowl now. Now I'm going to add the half cup of olive oil and a quarter cup of fresh chopped parsley. And we're going to get that all mixed together. Wasn't that a marvelous history? I've divided up the olive spread, and I am ready to cut the bread. And here we are right here. Let's see, I think we start it this way. That bread really turned out pretty. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect. Ooh, nice pocket for the olive spread. So let's put that in there. And you cover it really good with it. There's no reason to leave anything in the bowl. Hey, and then we're going to start with our salami. And this is half of what I have put out because I'm making two. I've got the other one that I need to make after this. Okay. Then our provolone. Stick a little piece extra there since that's just half of one. Our mortadella. There's a little pistachios in there. I don't know if I already said that or not, but that sort of fascinated me. And some more cheese. Pardon this interruption. We want to remind you to like and subscribe. It makes a difference. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program. I'll put one more there. And now our capicola. I think this is going to be really tasty. Now, how do you get this from there? I guess you just do it real quick. Let's see. Yep, that worked. Now, according to one recipe, it says to take this, wrap it up in a saran wrap, and then put a weight on top of it so that everything can get, I guess, melded together. So I'm going to do that next. I've got it all wrapped up now. And now I'm going to put my iron skillet on top of it for about an hour, and it will weight it down and get all those flavors melded together. So I'll see you back here in about an hour, well, at least an hour my time. Hey, I've had the sandwiches under the cast iron skillet and the cookie sheet. So let me just put one of these away. And let's get this cut up. Let's see what we have here. cutting well. Oh, look at that. Now that's a good looking sandwich. Oh yeah. Well, there's only one more thing to do, and that's to give this a taste. That is a big bite. Oh, all those flavors come together very well. Oh yes. I'm glad that I let it sit there for about an hour, and I did 30 minutes on each side. I flipped it over and let it sit underneath that cast iron skillet for a total of 1 hour. But this has been an excellent story, and the muffuletta is an Italian sandwich that never came from Italy. And as many things that have grown up here in our country, they've just been, spur of the moment. What do we need? And of course, I don't think it looked this good when it was first started, but the muffuletta today is a prized sandwich in many places, not just in New Orleans at the Central Grocery. But they are the ones that made it popular. That is for certain. Well, thank you for joining me today for the muffuletta episode of the Iron Spoon Kitchen.